Charlie's fingering me.
Charlie is fingering you.
I've done it this
Yes, stop speaking, Lucy. Stop speaking.
But the more time goes on, the more I look back and think, actually, it was with me a lot of the time. I just wasn't aware when I would be so inside my own head that I was just completely detached from the reality of what was happening around me. What the hell am I doing here? Like, I'm an alien that's been dropped on this new planet, and I don't know where I am and what I'm doing.
I remember you telling me like demons were like in the room. Like,
Wow.
I can remember waking up and being just completely unable to move. There was absolutely nothing I could do, and you're trying to scream, but nothing is coming out. No matter how small it is, my brain treats it like it's the worst case scenario. I don't really understand the grey in the middle. I'm one or the other, and it's quite hard to live like that. My emotional regulation is off the charts, like out of control. It's up or down, no middle. And at least I'm aware of that now. I didn't know that I'd really been officially diagnosed with depression until I read it on some doctor's notes. I had to stop running along the river at one point because all I could think about was going over. They're not thoughts that I want to have. They're frightening me. The more they're there, the more they start to convince you. And so I get myself a good job, and I go to the gym twice a day, and I'm working on my mental health. Tick, tick, tick. Okay. Oh, I've run out of things to do now, so everything's terrible again. I can't lose this part of my identity. Like, it's too big, and I can't keep making my world smaller to cope with my anxiety. My number one bit of advice is exactly that, Lucy. Speak to someone, because I have found a few times now that something someone says back to you gets through the door.
Hello and welcome to Becoming Lucy with me, Hannah.
And me, Lucy. So everybody talks about confidence like it's something you're either born with or you're not. But what happens when confidence slowly disappears, when anxiety gets louder, when depression becomes part of your everyday life, when you're doing all the things people tell you to do to feel better and somehow you feel worse?
Yes, today's guest is somebody we've known for a very long time. In fact, all three of us have worked overseas in the holiday repping world. And if you ever met a holiday rep or anyone that kind of works overseas, you'll probably have a picture in your head of what we're like. Confident, outgoing, always up for a laugh, the life and soul of the party.
Yes, and to be fair, there were definitely plenty of stories, questionable decisions and memories from those years that probably shouldn't make it into this episode, but we shall see. But what people often don't see is what's happening underneath all of that, because behind the smiles, the socialising and helping everybody else have the best week of their life, Charlie was struggling with something very different. Over the years, she's battled with depression, anxiety, a loss of confidence that became so significant, she began pulling away from the very things that once brought her joy.
So today we are going to be talking about what happens when life doesn't go to plan, rebuilding yourself after heartbreak, learning to stop hiding from the world, and discovering who you are when you finally start taking up space again. So Charlie, welcome to Becoming Lucy.
Hi, girls. Thank you for having me.
This is exciting.
Thank you for the intro.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
Oh, God. You know, you're like, when it's a friend, you like shit yourself even more.
Yeah, is it right? Am I going to like it? Is it going to land? But no, thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. We know this is a really big deal for you, and we're super proud that you're here and we managed to hit record. So before you change your mind, let's get into how we actually know you.
So is that for me to take?
Yeah, you take it. You give your interpretation.
Yeah.
Well, the three of us all worked together in Salou, didn't we? 12 years ago now.
Oh, wow.
Is it?
Yeah.
20...
Was it 14?
14, 15, 16?
14,
God.
I think it was.
14, yeah.
Yeah.
So, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like I say, we didn't live together, but me and Charlie worked together. Hannah, as she always likes to mention, we joke, was our manager.
I said earlier, right, this is a bit of behind the scenes shit. Anyway, so we were just chatting about how we were going to like do Charlie's intro. And at one point it was like, oh, the three of us are holiday reps. And I was like, well, actually, I think in the context of the story, there was a duty of care as a manager that I had. And I was going into all this stuff. And it makes sense, though, because when we get into your story and when we talk about that time, like, as your manager, like, there's a level of friendship that we had and a level of, like, target hitting, so to speak, but also that duty of care and responsibility as a manager to look after our team of reps. So it was a really like blended relationship at times. But yeah, apart from sort of that, the socializing side of it was epic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
It was. And I love it how you say you had a duty of care, even though you've made us going for a meeting on a half day. That's definitely not a duty of care.
I would
Half
like
days
to
don't
point-
start till 5:30.
I would like to point out that you got your commission. So anyway, let's move swiftly on. But no, obviously, like Charlie and Lucy alluded to, yeah, the girls worked together, and also we spent a lot of time together, from the airport to Coco's to days out, nights out, working. Hard targets, massive airport delays that took us to Barcelona and back.
Yeah.
Lots going on. And what are your memories of those years, Charlie?
Oh gosh. They were a lot of fun. I look back at my time overseas, and particularly the season in Salou, and just think about how much fun we had. Like, it was hard work. We were busy all the time, constantly trying to meet targets, and it like refreshes so regularly that you never ever stop. But somehow we managed to have so much fun in that time as well. Like, I could never live that fast a lifestyle now. Like, it makes me still
Yeah,
funny to
isn't
think
it
about. But
wild? Like
You're
the thought
constantly
of it.
on the go. Like, you're
Yeah.
like now, like, 'cause you didn't have a telly. Well, we did, like, in some places, but like, you'd never sit down after work and just sit down. Like,
No.
you'd
Never.
always get dressed, go out.
Yeah.
Get dressed, go out.
And-
And a lot of that obviously always include alcohol as well,
Yes.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Constantly.
And
And
like your
how I
mind.
feel today is like, if no one's aware, I am very hungover today. I've had the alcohol shakes. I've had to have 2 showers. I've had to have a cold shower before I come on. Like, literally, this dress is the only thing I can wear because the alcohol is seeping out of me, burning my skin. It's quite like every day in Salou, really.
Yeah, literally. We were saying it's like very apt that Charlie was on the episode today, and it's almost like Lucy went to like relive our Salou days from like a research point of view. So, you know, it's all pod related. But I was going to say, like, mentally, like your mind as well, like our minds never stop. So physically we were running on adrenaline like Duracell bunnies, but then mentally, like, and when I put myself in that situation and think how the hell we did it, because there was like a million things to do as well. But you're in that bubble, aren't you? You haven't got your real life back at home, so to speak, to deal with. And you do, because of course you're aware of it. You have phone calls, FaceTimes, whatever it is, but you do put yourself in that bubble. And I think that's what allows you to sustain it for so long. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you had to describe holiday rep Charlie, who was she?
I don't know, because I now feel like so disconnected from the person that I was when I worked overseas. But I think I was, as a rep, I'd probably say I was really brave. I was determined. And I don't know, a lot more free, I think.
Mm.
Mm.
I think that
Yeah.
probably comes
Yeah.
with age, though, as well. Well, and you didn't have any responsibility. Well, you did have a lot of responsibility when it came to our job, but you haven't got bills, like your accommodation's
Yeah,
paid
so,
for,
yeah.
like all your money's your own money. And
Yeah.
again, because you kind of cut off from that bubble, you live in that bubble, and it actually makes life a lot stress-free, I think,
Yeah.
because your people are your people, and if you've got any bad eggs, like people always throw things, people like, I don't know, like narcissists, or like, you know, if anyone's gaslit, people like that don't survive in a repping environment
No.
because you're such a family. You
Yeah.
like we said, you work together, you live together, you go out together, you're constantly together. They kind of get managed out by the group. It's like a pack
Yeah.
of wolves almost. And if you're a
Yeah.
bit of a bad egg, they don't last the season. They end up giving up. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? They're kind of managed out and just left out in the woods somewhere to get eaten by lions.
And also, if you don't manage to weed a bad one out, it's only 6 months or 3 months. And I think just like going back to what you've just said, Lucy, and then obviously what was I was saying about this bubble, I think when I compare my life overseas to what it is now, yes, I am living my best life in regards to being a mum and obviously content with my home life, and I've got brilliant friends, and you know, everything, touch wood, is ticking along and it's great. But there's no comparison to going back to that stress-free life. Like you said, you've got the exterior of family stuff going on and you've got things you need to be around for, but because you're geographically so far away as well, that made it a hell of a lot easier. And then you come back to the UK and you're suddenly sort of like inserted into a world that you once escaped from, really. And that's what makes it hard when you think about the comparison. I'm like, I agree, Charlie. I don't feel disconnected, but I feel like it was a completely different person. And obviously I've been with Rob throughout that as well. And I'm just like, when I look at Rob and I look at us, I look at our relationship, I'm like, that's not the same. No, that's not us. That was someone else. Like, how can that be us all those years ago? Being carefree and stress-free. Work was stressful, but like just generally, like you said, going back, getting some clothes on, meeting everyone in the bar, like, and then all you'd think about and talk about and banter about was like guests or like what happened at work, and you didn't really delve much into home life. So you kind of got to know people on a deeper level, but it was also surface level at the same time. It's a really hard thing to describe, isn't it?
No, definitely. Like we've said before, I feel like this pod's obviously brought us closer. We've had obviously a lot more deep conversations. And I was like, did we have these when we were drunk? Like, did they happen ever?
Just don't remember
Or
them.
did they? I didn't like. Or but I think as well we're so present as reps because you literally again like now we had obviously iPads back then in 2014, but a message would just get sent. Meet you in Chaplains at 7 o'clock, and that was the only communication. You didn't have time to scroll. You were literally in work. You were walking to work, or do you know what I mean? Like you were in that space, and then you're on your next thing, or you're doing an airport transfer, or you're doing a see off, or you're speaking to a guest around the pool, and you've got a complaint, and then it's like right, get home, get showered, get out. It was just constantly doon.
Bank your money, liquidation.
Oh,
you know
shit,
what I mean?
That.
That's the bit I like. Come on, girls, give me your money. Let's see if we've hit target. But I think also like that's a really good point in terms of like going back to like your teenage years. So like my teenage years were rough, but the time I spent with my friends and that kind of present of just like ringing and being like, right, meet at the field, or you kind of knew every night it would be 6 o'clock and then you'd all be there and people would come and go, and it's kind of taking yourself back to that era, isn't it, of like not having to pre-plan everything and like 1,000 messages just to go and meet friends, and it was very freeing, wasn't it, in a certain way. And then
you
obviously
knew you had everybody, didn't you? That's it. Like you go down to Chaplains and like you say, Charlie's there, Mel's there, Drizzle's there, do you know what I mean? Dean's there, do you know what I mean? Like everyone would be there, and you didn't have that. I was just thinking, because obviously I know we've spoken about anxiety, but you know, like now, it's like I'm meeting someone later on. I'm out of this.
Stop speaking, Lucy, stop speaking.
Right, so like meeting somebody on a weekend or whatever, and then you're just constantly like, are they going to come? Like, what's happening with the plan? I haven't spoken to them for 2 hours, so are they still arriving today? Are we still going out? Where no one can seem to kind of fixate, okay, we've made a plan, is anyone going to turn up? And also, like, we spoke about Hannah's wedding just before, and it's like, you're talking, I know that's different with guests turning up, but it's like, why is it so hard for people to commit as well now? Do you know what I mean? Like,
there's
life, do you think? Yeah,
there's flakiness everywhere. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I think that we definitely had responsibilities, and it was hard work, like you said, Charlie, from a work perspective. But the fun is what those memories are about. And what are some of your favourite memories, do you think, from those days then?
Oh, I can't
Don't
think of
chuck us
anything
under the bus.
specific.
Do not
You
chuck
go
us
ahead.
under the bus.
I don't know about anything specific, but like I always think about like our Wednesday day sessions we used to have at Coco's, and like
Yes.
every week without fail, I would look forward to that. Like it never got old. It was just
Yeah.
something that
Remember when we
every
did the
single week you couldn't
onesie
wait.
day? The
Yeah,
onesie.
the best day ever. It was so fun.
Sweating
And
in
one
the
of our-
In our
onesies.
fleecy onesies. Yeah, that was, yeah.
And one of
that's
our favourite
amazing.
pictures, isn't it? It's like
Oh,
us
yeah.
three and Rob.
And Charlie's
and
fingering me.
Charlie is fingering you. Charlie turned Lucy to girls all those years ago.
This sounds horrific, but I need to put the picture up. We'll
Yes.
use this picture.
Yes. And then we'll put a big circle around Charlie's finger just in case you can't see it. And also, can we say the strawberry daiquiris at
I knew
Coco's?
you were going to say this. That's all I remember you for.
I'd be so hungover, but I'd get there at like 10 a.m. and just down a strawberry daiquiri and be ready to go again. They were just the most amazing thing. Shout out to Johnny and Kev. But yes, I mean, obviously, like, it is hard to pinpoint, isn't it? Like, you'd have to sit and really think about it. And obviously, Charlie's got no idea what we're asking today. Neither have we, to be fair. We're just going, what we always do, go with the flow and see what comes out of our mouth. But amongst all of that then, Charlie, obviously there was fun, a lot of work, stressful from a work perspective, living in our bubble, like Lucy said, you know, pack of wolves, always got each other's back. Did you think, or were there any signs back then that you were struggling? Like, even if you didn't realise it, no one else realised, were there any signs?
I think so. I think for a long time, like once I'd come back from overseas, I kind of said to myself, oh, that version of me was the right one. Now I've got the problems. But the more time goes on, the more I look back and think, actually, it was with me a lot of the time. I just wasn't aware. Like I was just willfully unaware. And like we've said, life moves a million miles a minute. Like there's fun to be had and things to be doing. So I think I was distracted. Like we said at the beginning, it was all under the surface. I think there were definitely signs of it at certain stages throughout our season that got worse as my seasons went on, if I really am honest about it.
Yeah. And be honest, this is what this space is about, you know. And I think if we can, me and Lucy can probably definitely remember a couple of occasions where we were worried about you, you know, when we did that
Charlie
bike
Mermaid
ride.
Day, yeah.
Charlie Mermaid
Mermaid
Day.
Day.
Charlie Mermaid Day. I was going to start with a nice build up with the bike, and we rode to the beach and through Canberra just to paint the picture loose. But no, obviously that was one of our sober days off together, and we loved it, didn't we? Like we had such a great day. We decided not to drink, and we hired bikes and we rode through Canberra and found like a little secluded beach, and we were all sat there just chatting and paddling and whatnot. And then we noticed that Charlie had taken herself off and sort of sat on rocks like a mermaid. That's Charlie Mermaid Day. And you just sort of took yourself off. Like, can you describe to us now, like what you were thinking, why you did that? Like what were you like in that moment?
I think there were times when I would be so inside my own head that I was just completely detached from the reality of what was happening around me. Like I wasn't part of the person that I would normally am. All I can think and feel is either numbness or like, what the hell am I doing here? Like I'm an alien that's been dropped on this new planet and I don't know where I am and what I'm doing. It's like a real just sort of sense of not feeling safe in my body and in the surroundings and in the world. Like it's just like severe discomfort with who I am and what I'm being. Like I can remember there was another time in Salute that I'd forgotten about until recently. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning and I was in bed and I got out of bed, walked to the beach by myself, walked all the way down to Lou Beach, a really long beach, isn't it? And I did exactly the same thing. I sat on the rocks and the waves were coming in. I sat there thinking, what on earth are you doing? This is mental. but I couldn't even physically be in my room anymore. Like I just had to go somewhere and try and get away from my own head. Like, just
Was that the quieter moments then? Because obviously we spoke a lot that we've had a lot, like you're constantly going out, but it's only when Hannah mentioned like that was one of our days off when we weren't drinking. So it's like everybody kind of masked anything that was going on at home because you had the party lifestyle and then obviously you had a couple of drinks and everyone's then singing or dancing or, we're prattling about. So do those moments you think showed up more when there wasn't kind of that alcohol or that plan? Do you know what I mean?
yeah, I think that probably is the case. I also think that, drinking to excess is fun while it's fun, but can also knock you over the
Oh,
edge
God.
into those sorts of feelings. That when 95% of the time it's absolutely fine, you don't know when the other 5% is coming, and that day was probably one of those days.
Yeah. Because I remember one day as well, like, we were looking for you for ages on the chat. Like, we couldn't find Charlie.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we
I
were
forgot about that.
yeah. And, like, I don't know where we found you in the end.
I'd gone to the beach, but I'd left my work phone
Is that
Yeah.
at the flat.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all linking in.
And was the beach like a happy, calming place for you then? Is that why you always found yourself there? Was there anything you wanted to do at the beach, or was it just the waves, or what was that?
Yeah, I think I've always loved the sea. Like, it's one of my favorite things. I love being near the water. I've literally just bought a house somewhere that's near the river because I want to be near the water. Like, it's just something that I enjoy being around it. I think it's grounding and helpful. Like, nature is good, right?
It is 100%.
Yeah, and one thing I wanted to bring up, now I'm just bringing up loads of memories now, it's probably going to be traumatizing for you, Charlie. But like, when me and Charlie actually did live together in Tenerife.
Yes, that was a year later, right? Because obviously I was then in Tenerife as well with you. You loved to go to
It was the same. It was the same winter, wasn't it? So we did Salou together in the summer. Then we went out to see you on holiday in Tenerife the first half of winter.
And then we
me and
crossed
Goose
over.
Yes.
Well, I remember us living together. It gets a little bit deeper, doesn't it? And like, I've got all thoughts going on in my head now, but I can remember you suffered like night terrors and stuff as well, didn't you? Things like that. Obviously, you had with the breakup. I can remember it still comes up on my Facebook memories now, trying to cheer you up and stuff like that. When the massive and like again, Los Gigantes, again very near the sea where we lived, but it was a quieter resort as well, isn't it? It's not like Las Americas, so we probably had a bit more time to think and. Do you know what I mean? And all those kind of things. But yeah, explain to us about the night terrors, because I remember you telling me like demons were like in the room. Like,
I
those were in Salou as well, weren't they?
Yeah, first time I ever had it was in Salou, and it was literally horrifying. Because do you remember my bed was like almost like a little cave because there was a bookshelf on either side and then a cupboard that went over the top, and I was just like in this little like snug bit.
Can I just say, as a manager, I wasn't responsible for accommodation.
Don't even talk about the oven. If we get Drizzle on the podcast, it'll be an hour about the oven.
Oh no!
Yeah. How did we ever become friends, Hannah? When the first thing that we had of me was me demanding a working cooker. Well, no one's ever asked before. I'm like, well, I'm asking now.
Oh, made it work, girls. We look at us here 12 years later.
Right. Back to the demons.
Okay. Serious. I can remember that honestly so vividly because it was so terrifying, and I can remember waking up and being just completely unable to move. It felt like there was rocks like pushing me down into the bed, and I could not move. And I was looking to the side of me, and I could literally see what looked like stone gargoyle type characters like laughing in my face and like moving in slow motion around the room. And it felt like it went on for such a long time, and there was absolutely nothing I could do. And you're trying to scream, but nothing is coming out of your mouth. That you're trying with everything that you've got to scream at the top of your voice and to move, and nothing is happening. And you just have to wait for it to to pass,
Right.
and it had never happened to me before. I heard things about sleep paralysis
That's it, yeah. I get
before,
from terrors, yeah.
yeah, like where it feels like the devil's sitting on your chest, and I was like, how is that possible? And I was like, oh no, yeah,
Yeah,
it
because
is.
if you
And
get the
Literally
old
like that.
medical books, that's what they show, don't they? Literally, like
Yeah,
there's like
it's like an
Yeah.
pictures sat
image,
on
yeah.
you. Yeah.
And is that, now we know, obviously, with mental health, it's so much better talked about. There's so much more out there. And obviously you've done some research since then. Was that just anxiety sat all over your chest that was looking like it was a demon? And was that the physiological reaction from depression, but you just didn't know it at that time?
I think it's possible. Yeah. I don't know for sure, obviously, but I think there was a lot of repression in those years of my life because I had struggled with depression as a teenager, but not really had a label for it or known
Right.
what it was or gotten any help or anything about it. And part of the reason I went overseas was to make myself happy, to get away, and I was happy. I was away. I was doing what I loved and really enjoying it. So I think it was just that underneath the surface, undealt with, um,
Trauma.
ignored, and then just coming out when it got the opportunity to.
And I think, like, obviously we've got to know you over the years, and I do reflect back to your character when you're overseas, and volatile's the wrong word, because you are very measured, you are very calm,
I don't even know what volatile
but
means. Sorry.
like
Can you just use normal words, please?
Unpredictable in a violent way.
fucking hell, honestly. Right, we can tell how this is going to go. Sorry, listeners. Sorry, listeners. It's a good job we know you, Charlie, isn't it?
That's why I thought I can fucking just come out of this now.
So volatile means, like unpredictable, and it can mean, obviously, the reaction someone can have can be aggressive, or it can be, unnerving. So that wasn't Charlie. She was measured, she was calm, but what was noticeable is that there wasn't much leeway between I'm happy to I'm not. That there wasn't, it didn't take a gradual process. It was like you were, I'm fine, everything's good, brilliant. But if something went wrong, or if something didn't sit right with you, or you were asked to do something or whatever, it would go from that to that almost immediately. And I think that's what I noticed about your character. When you're in the environment of everything's so great and we've got to do this and everything's so happy, that's a real, like, sort of jump off a cliff, if you know what I mean. Like, there is no kind of parachute helping you get to and process that. Does that sound like you back then, or am I misinterpreting?
No, I think that's probably fair. Yeah. I'm have for a long time been very, everything's either amazing or it's terrible. There isn't an in between. Like, my brain, no matter what, if something bad happens, no matter how small it is, my brain treats it like it's the worst case scenario, and I have to respond to it as if it's the worst case scenario. I don't really understand the grey in the middle. I'm one or the other, and it's quite hard to live like that sometimes.
Yeah.
But you're also, on the other hand, if it's somebody else's problem, you're very good, and you're very, like, in the
measured.
zone, aren't you?
Yeah, practical,
like,
logical.
So if there's a crisis, say, like we said, overseas, like, overnight delays and stuff, you're smashing it. You're fine. Or like, I don't know, I can't remember if I had any issues, probably, but do you know what I mean? Like,
Lucy, we could do a whole episode, I think. I don't know if I had any issues. Can I just say, this is coming from the girl who, again, was in my team, that I had to discard old tablets that she got from the Disney cruise that she used to work on. And we were sat in a restaurant and she had a headache. And she was like, I'll just take these pills.
Again.
She got this bag, like this, like a sandwich bag, wasn't it, Charlie? A sandwich bag. And she just started rifling through these pills. And I was like, what are you doing? She was like, I've got some paracetamol in here from America. What, when you worked on the cruise ships about 7 years ago? Like, what are you on about? She was fucking popping them. And I'm like, no, you're not doing that. Let's call a doctor. Yeah,
Oh
anyway.
God, you were literally Rob's key was splattered all over him. We were really hungover, so everything was absolutely hysterical. No matter what happened, the salt and pepper could have fell over, and it was crying with laughter day. And you were calling the doctors. Yeah, and I can't remember. I think they were calling them flu tablets or something, but they were really good.
They were out of date, and they could have sent you loopy. You don't need to get any more loopy than you already are. But anyway, but no, like, I think that is 100% right as well. You're very, I said, logical, measured, calm. But I think that gap was always sort of, it's like you said, either amazing or horrendous, and there's nothing in between there. And would you say that you've changed that over the years? I know we're going to get a bit deeper into kind of your story, but would you say Charlie from the repping world to Charlie now, have you done work, or have you found a place where you can be a little bit grey if you need to be?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've done an awful lot of work. I've been in and out of different types of therapy through the NHS since the first year I was back in the UK dealing with my mental health. And it has taught me a lot of awareness about what's going on. And like you say, I wasn't aware that I was like 1 or 0. Like my emotional regulation is off the charts, like out of control. It's up or down, no middle. And at least I'm aware of that now, and it's much easier to manage, because I'll have a crisis about something, and my brain immediately goes to, no, this is terrible. This is the worst thing in the world. Like, but I'm able to say to myself, well, this is just your natural reaction, and that's not really the reality of the situation. Like, I am able to talk myself down from it more now, and it still sucks because I still have to feel it the way that I've always felt it. But at least I'm able now to bring myself back into the grey and have a bit more of a like logical conversation with myself. But it is still the case where it's there, but I have to manage it. It's not disappeared. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and that's not wrong, you know. That's your personality, it's your brain, like you said, it's how you're wired. But the fact that you're able to manage it better is going to be more beneficial for you, like you referenced. You know, it's hard work living like that, like where it's exhausting, right? So at least now, if you've got that technique that you can use, you know, there will be light at the end of the tunnel. Where I imagine when you were constantly in that sort of state before realizing it, it's draining. You're not too sure when you're going to feel happy again. You know, you're probably looking around thinking like, I've got everything I need, but I can't get out of this hole. And that's what depression is like, right? Do you want to explain a little bit more about depression for people maybe who don't know a lot about it, you know?
And when were you diagnosed? When did they say, right, you've got this as well? I'm intrigued.
It's a difficult one with the NHS, I think, mental health. I think I didn't know that I'd really been officially diagnosed with depression until I read it on some doctor's notes. Like they said, oh yeah, low mood and all this, or might be anxiety, but they never really tell you anything specific. But that's definitely what it was in 2017 when I came back to the UK. Like, I came back from overseas in a bit of a tumultuous way. Like, it was my decision, but it was a very bad ending to my career overseas. And I was having to deal with the way that that situation had made me feel. And then also being thrown into, I lived in London now. I'd only visited London once as a 13-year-old to go to a West End show. I was working in a job in a commercial team, and I'd never really heard about what commercial was, let alone being paid to do it. Didn't really know anyone. There was a couple of people that I knew that lived in London, but turns out London, you're at least an hour away from everywhere, no matter where you are in London. Like, it was just a huge culture shock. And I guess it took me a long time as well to be able to realize that it was depression. I think it was probably not until I had it a second time really bad that I was able to notice the difference. I was like,
Mm.
oh no, there is a difference between just being a bit sad and struggling with situations that are happening in your life and what this feels like. Because for me, it's different for everyone, I'm sure, but my personal experience was it was just spent most of my time plagued by thoughts that my life was terrible and I hated it and I hated being here. And
Mm.
it was everything made me want to cry, like
Mm.
everything was just so hard. And that's not a normal feeling. And you're trying to convince yourself all the time, no, I'm fine and I'm going to get better. This is just a bit of a low mood and stuff's going on. And it keeps not getting better. And it's not until down the line it actually starts getting better that you see for yourself what it actually was, like how bad you were feeling and how you shouldn't have to feel that way when you're in it. It's hard to describe on a podcast.
No, you've
No, I
done really
get it.
well.
No, I
Yeah.
think you have. And also, why did you choose to go to London? Because like some people listening can go, well, you not like whatever, but I'll be blunt because we're mates. You know what I mean? Go, well, you put yourself in London. You know what I mean? That's like
Mm,
whatever. But then
yeah,
also, like you said, this depression we spoke about from your teenage years, holiday
Mm.
repping. They say a lot of us are running away from something. So it's like, were you kind of running? Do
yeah.
you think that like? What made
I
you
think
choose London,
so.
actually? I'm really, because obviously you're Wolverhampton way, aren't you?
Yeah. So I chose London because I saw a job with TUI, with the company we worked for a winter secondment in their ski division in the ski head office, which was in London. And I thought, oh, that would be fun. Because I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Hmm.
And I didn't want to do my winter placement that they'd offered me. So I thought, oh, I'll go and do that and see how I feel. Like I'd just done my interview for manager to go back next summer if I was successful as a manager. Um, so I just thought I'd come and see how it went. In my head,
Mm.
it wasn't going to be that different to repping because it was a new place, a few months, and then see how it went really.
That's a really logical way of putting it again, because that is your brain. Because I think you're really brave for doing that. Like, London is, like you mentioned, a massive culture shock. And I think what overseas gives you is, like we said, it's that support network. So actually going down to London, yes, you had a job with a company that's our overseas company,
Mm,
but as we all know, work in the UK is not like it is overseas. People do their job, they go home, and they have an entirely separate life. They don't shove a dress on and go and meet in the bar. They've got friends, they've got family, they've got kids, they've got pets, they've got other things going on. They log off at 5 or whatever time they log off, and it's done. And that's the difference between overseas and,
mm,
and the UK or anywhere else, And I'm going to say normal job
yeah.
in inverted commas. So that I understand why you thought it would be, but my God, that reality soon sunk in then, right? That you didn't have anyone to go for drinks with straight after work. And I know
Mm.
London does promote that, and I know that is a thing, but not to the extent of kind of what we did overseas. So when was it that you realised that it may not have been the right decision in terms of your depression to go to London?
I don't think I ever really considered it like changing my mind. Like I was there, I was doing a job, and like my sort of way of being is I wouldn't be able to move anywhere unless I already had the job. Like I'm very, very worried about financial security and stuff. I wouldn't just go and move home and not have a job. And I had something, so I was going to stick with it. You know,
Even though it made you not want to
I
be
didn't.
around.
I think even at that time, I was very aware that it wasn't just the fact that I was living in London and I was a bit lonely. It was an explosion of a lifetime's worth of issues coming up. And moving home would not have solved that issue. Moving to somewhere else would not have solved that issue. It was time to start dealing with
Yeah.
the issue.
And what made you then go, right, we need to fix this? Was it a doctor's appointment? Like, because I know we spoke about, obviously, between ourselves, we talk about it like, you have to love yourself more, like, you know, and all this, but put yourself out there. To anyone
If
who can
anyone
see
can see
Charlie's face.
Charlie's face. Charlie does the best eye rolls, and Charlie wears what she thinks on her face. So please watch this episode, because that was the best eye roll to that comment.
Yeah, and
Sorry,
I think
everyone.
Charlie just takes the floor from there, really. So,
So what was it? It was honestly, it was a visit from a friend. And being able to just like actually say to him, like, this is really bad, and see him look at me and go, yeah, this is really fucking bad. Like, I don't want to leave you. I can't leave you in this state. And then I think a lot of the times when I've been through really bad um bouts with my mental health, actually reaching out to a friend is so powerful. It can jumpstart so much to have like a different point of view of what's happening to you. Like seeing someone go, yeah, we really need to do something about this. It kind of opens your eyes a little bit and just
Does it
takes you
feel
just
Does it feel validating as well? Because I bet when you're struggling with that, and the low confidence that we spoke about earlier, like it probably feels validating to have someone actually say, like, yeah, this is, even though it is in your head because it's mental health, but like, yeah, this isn't normal. Like, I suppose there
think
is some validation there as well, right?
definitely at that point, like, mental health is talked about so much more now, and people wouldn't bat an eyelid if you casually drop into conversation that you've got anxiety about one thing or another. But at that point, I didn't have anyone that I was around enough to kind of have that conversation with, that I'd spent enough time with, that I was close enough to say, hey, I could do this, like, this is bad. But to see someone, the look on someone's face, like that they're terrified for you, like, it's like Lisa said before, I can act for other people but not for myself. So
Yeah.
seeing the terror in somebody else opened up a bit of a door in my brain, let me out for a few minutes to be able to deal with it more,
Yeah.
to reassure that person. Do you know what I
Uh,
mean?
Did you ever have any suicidal thoughts
Yes.
when you were at your worst? Yeah.
Yeah. I have had them, and that's when I really know, like, this is as bad as it's going to get. I had to stop running along the river at one point because all I could think about was going over, and being on the phone to the doctors. They're calling me a couple of times a day to make sure I'm still safe, and
Wow.
it's honestly terrifying because a lot of the times they're not thoughts that I want to have. They're frightening me. It's like, I don't want to be thinking these things. I don't want to act on these thoughts that are happening in my head. I want them to go away, and I don't know how to make them go away. And you just live in that cycle constantly of fighting in your brain with the thoughts that are coming up, and then telling them to piss off and leave you alone, and then they come back, and then it's exhausting. And it's terrifying because you don't want to act on them, but the more they're there, the more they start to convince you, and the more you start to think, yeah, this is the answer. This will solve my problem.
Yeah, you're not going to hear it anymore, are you? If it's coming that strong and your brain is telling you and your mind is telling you to do something like that, I'm starting to, when you were telling us that, I was starting to understand, people taking that way out, because that's the only way they're going to, the voices are going to stop.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank God for your friend.
And on that, because obviously we got to this conversation, Charlie, to get you on the pod because it was on about modern day dating, wasn't it? That episode. And obviously, being friends, you are very loyal as well, tuning in every week. And it coincidentally, that's a very big word for me today, if that's even a word.
Coincidentally, I think that's what you're trying to say, isn't it?
I didn't even notice. I just breezed straight past it. I knew exactly what you meant. I was like,
Don't forget, I'm the one
You
that
speak
can
animal.
I speak animal. Another thing we didn't say.
Charlie had to listen to it all the time.
Yeah, I speak animal. I'm the only one that understands what she's saying.
So, yeah, and going back to that, your therapy sessions always kind of fall on our pod release day, and you messaged me going, I'm crying at your episode. And I initially took that as crying out loud, like laughter, because of obviously the stories we shared. You went, no, a bit of both. And I was like, oh, and you're like, this is why I now realise why I'm in therapy. So,
yeah.
Take us a little bit more, into
Tell us
that.
more.
I think it's like Lucy said in the episode, like dating is a thankless job. It's really, really hard work, and you do have to have a really thick skin. And I love to think I've got one, but it's not true. I tried really hard. Like when I left overseas, part of it was because I was ready to settle down, and I was 24, which now I just think is a bit crazy, but that was like what I wanted to do next. Basically.
You've got an old head on a young shoulders. You've always had that. You're always older than you are in a good way. Do you know what I mean? So I can understand why you probably felt that, because you'd lived 9 lives already, you know?
Basically, yeah. So that was the plan, right? Come back to the UK, meet someone, settle down, get married, all that sort of stuff. And I thought it was being progressive to not want to start having kids till I was 30. I was like, I'd take my time. But that didn't happen for me, and I don't know what I expected, but it obviously wasn't the reality of what I got. Like, I thought one day I'll meet a guy in a pub or whatever, and we'll start going out with each other, and it'll go from there. But actually, the reality of online dating, like Lucy covered so well in the podcast a few weeks ago, is that it's a lot of admin, it's a lot of rejection, and you shouldn't take it personally, because you are just a face on a screen, and it's not the same as someone walking up to you and going, oh, and walking away. So that's how it feels. Do you know what I mean?
Well, if you're delicate already mentally, that's a really brave thing to do, enter that world. And regardless if you've got mental health issues or not, I hats off to everyone that does it. Like I was saying in the episode, like I just don't even know like how you guys do it,
There was one year where I'd been single for, I think it was when I was 27. So I'd been single for the 2 years I'd been back in the UK. And I was like, right, this year I'm going to put myself out there. So got on the dating apps, went on dates, like persevered, because it's like Lucy mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, you get all this advice. So you're single, it's because you're trying too hard, or you need to love yourself first, and then it'll happen when you least expect it, and all this bullshit. So I'm like, like I say, I'm very black and white. There's no grey for me. So if someone says love yourself first, I'm like, okay, I'll go work on that then. So I get myself a good job, and I go to the gym twice a day, and I'm working on my mental health. Tick, tick, tick. Okay, I've run out of things to do now, so everything's terrible again. And then it's like, okay, well, then you need to put yourself out there. Okay, I'll put myself out there. So for a year straight, I go on at least 1 date a week, more or less. And after that year, having absolutely nothing to show for it, nothing more than like 5 or 6 dates max with one person, is I just
you did better than me so far. I don't think I've ever got past date 2.
But this is the thing, Lou. So they still, I don't even know if that's true. I might be making it up, but it definitely, I can't remember one of their names. Like, they're so insignificant because they just fizzle out. And or you meet them straight away and you think, you're definitely not for me, but I'm so polite that I'll stay for a couple of drinks. But then you'll reject me, and then I'll be
Yeah, back to
upset.
square one
Like,
again.
well,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
well, I was willing to give you a chance, and then you fucked me off, and I'm like, is it? And after a year of it, I just felt so like overwhelmed. It was like, right, well, I tried to do the love yourself thing, that didn't work. I tried to do the put yourself out there, that didn't work. Now what is left? What do I do now? What do I do to make this happen? And me and Luce, we were talking about it, weren't we, after your episode? Like, there is nothing you can do.
No.
And but I'm a doer. Like, if I've got a problem, I want to fix it. And one of your other guests was saying this the other week as well. Is just don't focus on the how. Like,
Yeah.
just
Charlotte and
do you know what
Kat,
I
that.
mean?
Yeah, 100%. And I think that, but regardless, obviously, of the advice that's out there and the advice that you're giving yourself and all this kind of stuff, the reality of it, sometimes it just doesn't land. And when your emotions are involved, it's really hard to sugarcoat that, you know? And I think because of your struggles and what we've talked about and the work that you've been doing on yourself, you had to find a balance of protecting your peace, protecting your mental health versus, okay, what can I do to get myself out of this situation versus, okay, I just need to draw a line under it and realize that this is just the modern dating world. And that must have been really hard to fine tune when you have been, you know, diagnosed with depression.
Yeah, it's so difficult. Like, every time I have a struggle with my mental health, I deal with it, and after a certain time, it gets better. And I think it's gone away. I'm like, haha, I've beaten it. Off it goes. I'm off to live my life, and then it comes back. But some
boomerang.
symbols, it keeps coming back. And every time it does, it hurts harder because it's another failure. That's how I treat it in my head. Like, I know that that's unfair on myself, but again, that's part of why I've just been given a year's worth of therapy on the NHS, because that is, I'm not very nice to myself in my own head. Like, I see it as a failure. It's something to be beaten rather than a part of me that I can manage. So yeah, dating it was a lot of ambiguity that my brain didn't like. I like to know what's going on. I like, if I can, to be in control. I know that
we're
I
all
can't.
a bit like that, aren't we?
But yeah,
me and Lucy
not
sometimes have
having
our
that.
conversations where we're both trying to control the narrative. We're like, right, let's start again. Let's compromise. But no, I can imagine that was really tough. And obviously, part of this dating chapter brought us to Josh. So tell us about meeting him.
I met Josh at a wedding, actually. He was the best man, and so
this
his
is when
best
you weren't
friend was,
looking for it. that moment when you're not looking.
honestly. The funny thing is, like, I don't endorse these things at all, but I had literally, on the Thursday before the wedding, sat in a therapist's office and cried the entire session and said, I'm not in a place to go to this wedding. But I did go, and it changed my life completely. So it might be like, maybe it rings in with the stop looking and you'll find it, but it definitely doesn't ring in with the love yourself first, because I was not a happy girl.
What I'm intrigued as well, like, are you just having therapy? And I don't know if I can say this, or do you have happy pills as well? Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
medication, Lucy.
Yeah.
Medication. Yeah, I do have medication. I went through about the year I was turning 30. I had horrific insomnia for 6 months before I decided to do anything about it. And the doctors diagnosed it as, like, anxiety related, basically. So I've been on medication to control my anxiety and my sleep since the year I turned, so to 2023. And at various stages, I've had to increase those doses to deal with the anxiety. The sleep, I don't have to worry about anymore. As soon as Josh came into my life, my sleep has sorted itself out.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's really annoying
amazing.
because it was a nightmare to be like any other night if he wasn't with me. It was bad. But yeah, I'm now on the lowest dose possible of my meds and looking to come off them entirely in the next couple of months.
Wow,
Oh.
congratulations. And do you know what though? Even if you weren't, and even if you carried on this sort of up, down, whatever is going to make you feel the best you can feel. And that goes for anyone. It doesn't matter if it's medication, holistic therapies, talking therapies, a combination of everything, whatever's going to make you be the best person you can be and feel the best you can feel. But that's amazing news,
Yeah,
and well done for like doing the work and getting to a place where you feel like you might be coming off them.
thanks.
And
It's
Yeah.
been a while.
oh, and obviously back with Josh then. So you changed your life, like you said. However, spoiler alert, you broke up. So it was fantastic. What happened then? What led to the breakup?
Um, I think one of the biggest things really was how badly I wanted it. I'd not had it for such a long time. I'd waited such a long time for it. And because of my anxiety, I I don't want it to go anywhere. So I was looking for all these guarantees that he wasn't in a place to give me. They weren't realistic to be given to me. And no matter what I asked for, it wouldn't make me feel any better.
What kind of
Um,
things? Just to explain, I think a lot of people will relate to this because
mm,
I don't what even like we probably covered it a little bit. Like you have like anxious attachment types, which is obviously what you're speaking about. You have
yeah.
avoidance when people pull back you, and then you have your secure, and then you can go to a right tangent when it comes to
Mm.
obviously how the brain works when it comes to how people react in relationships. But what were you expecting? What were you saying? What were you?
Yeah. So we were um we were at a point where we'd said I love you and everything was going great and I was just on a completely different timeline to Josh and mine was unrealistic. I just wanted it to keep happening, to keep reassuring myself that it was gonna go that way. Do you know what I mean? I just wanted to rush to that part so I felt safe
Hmm.
and it was unnecessary.
He was clearly trying his hardest to reassure you, to kind of, even though he wanted to slow the timeline down, he loved you, said that you loved each other, he wanted to be with you. But did it just get to a point where he couldn't carry on? Is that kind of what happened?
He wasn't ready for us to make those big steps each other. It would be insane.
Hmm.
But yeah, it got to a point where we loved each other very, very much, but we couldn't make our way through that situation. He didn't know what to do, and I couldn't regulate my emotions well enough for us to take a step back from being terrified and just letting it go naturally,
Hmm.
basically.
And how long were you split up for? Because obviously, this is when you kind of, like you said, took that turning point. It wasn't just heartbreak, because then you're living on your own as well. You said before financial. I
Mm,
can't fucking speak.
Financially.
It's a big thing for you, and
mm,
obviously you got work. Everything kind of like arrived at once. So
it
what
did,
happened
yeah.
then? So was it like you said, this future that you come back from overseas, you planned it, I'm going to get a boyfriend, I'm going to get this, and this happily ever after was just disappeared. Do you know what I mean?
That is literally what it was, Luce. It
Mm.
was there were a few things going on. So I'd been living with one of my best friends
Oh,
for a few
yeah.
years in a flat together, and she'd actually met her partner the same week that I met Josh. So we'd been like single and sad together
I
for
Ah.
two
remember you
years.
talking about her. There were a lot, like, and when we used to sort of
Yeah.
like chat, and I swear there was a few
Yeah,
FaceTimes and things, and I remember you talking about her a lot, and you used to live together, and it was lovely that you were in the same time period. Do you know what I mean? Because if she had
yeah,
maybe a boyfriend and she kept bringing him round, which should be well within her rights to do, that probably would have spiraled you even more. So it was really lovely that you had that companionship at the same time.
yeah. I think we were both very relieved that it happened for both of us at the same time. But yeah, when we split, me and her had conversations. Or the reason Josh and I started having conversations about moving in together was because she had told me that she had plans for Tom to move in, and this wasn't actually until 6 months' time. But obviously, my brain can't handle being in any sort of limbo. So, right, let's deal with it. Let's sort it out. The obvious solution is that me and Josh live together. Because that, London is a very expensive place to live. Like, unless you earn over a certain amount of money, like you can't get a flat on your own. You have to house share with people. And I was like, oh God, I can't go back to house sharing with people. I'm not in my 20s anymore. I've got anxiety. I like my quiet and my space. Like, I can't share a kitchen with strangers. I just didn't know what to do with myself. Like, I was heartbroken. I was dealing with knowing that was coming and just being completely stuck. I was putting myself through job interviews whilst on the phone to the ambulance services to make sure that I'm still breathing and still here, and interviews these days aren't just a hour phone call and you're off.
Yeah,
And I
it's the
got
whole
to
process.
The
it
prep
was
and all that, isn't it? Like you
all
say, the
all of
admin
them.
and
Yeah, I had three major ones in so Josh and I were only apart for 2 months in the end. But in that stage, in those 2 months, I had three major interviews, having got knocked back from about 1,000 more that I applied for. For these three, each of them were 4 stages, and they all required an awful lot of work. And they all sort of started happening around the same time. Got to the end of every single one. So done the maximum work you need to do whilst dealing with feeling like my life's imploding and I don't want to be here anymore and this is horrific. And just holding on to, if I can just get one of these jobs, I'll be able to earn enough money to deal with my living situation as and when it comes up. Like, the pressure will be off. And I got rejected from all three of them just before Christmas. And
I hope you've reflected sort of since then and feel an immense sense of pride for doing that at a time when you were at your absolute lowest, because that is a hell of a lot to do. And not even one interview, three, to do that and then to get rejected and to still get up out of bed and keep going. And for someone who struggles with their mental health, that is an amazing achievement. So I hope that you've reflected and you can look back at that time and feel so proud that you made it through, because you should absolutely feel that.
Thank
definitely.
you.
And I think, what did you learn about your time? Because we speak a lot on the podcast, like, it was, well, I don't know, everything kind of happens for a reason. So obviously, do you think if it wasn't for that breakup, for getting those rejections with those jobs, that you and Josh would have been as strong as you are now?
Well, I think we're always working towards the best version of each other. So you wouldn't keep improving if it wasn't for the things that happen to you. So I do think that that's the case. But I think when Josh and I got back together, a huge part of me wanted to work on me. I wanted to stop paying attention to the need in my heart to be with someone and sort myself out. Because I didn't want to be the kind of person that falls apart when they get broken up with, or that can't deal with things going on in their life without feeling like the worst has happened and it's all going to be over in a couple of days because I'm going to give up. So it
sounds like a second chance almost.
It was a real wake up call. It was a real wake up call to be like, nah, this isn't how you should be living your life. And there's a lot of things that I probably ignored that had like slowly gotten worse over the years. Like, I used to do an awful lot of pole dance when I moved back to the UK. Like I said, I didn't have a lot of friends, I had a lot of spare time on my hands. So I was doing that and I was so into it. I was there all the time.
You were
Absolutely
incredible
loved
as
it.
well.
Yeah,
My
you were
God.
ripped from it as well,
Yeah,
weren't you?
like, I mean, when Charlie was
And
saying earlier, when we said about how would she describe herself as a rep, and she said determined, and whatever else she said, you applied that to pole dancing as well. Like, honestly, like your page, I mean, I can't look at it because I just feel so envious of all the moves that you can do. But equally, as a friend, amazed by it. Like, I'm like, look what my friend can do. I used to show my other friends about it. They'd be like, who's that on your Instagram? I'm like, it's my friend Charlie. Look what she can do. Like, I felt really proud of you because that is an immense talent. But now you're opening up and telling us that that was another mask, right?
Yeah, it was. It was a way to it funneled a lot of my anxiety. So that's why it was so addictive, because it made me feel good. But you know, as time went on and I got older, and all of this anxiety was just like bubbling through the surface and becoming a part of my everyday life, I got scared of pole. I just couldn't do it anymore. I haven't done pole for nearly 2 years now because my anxiety took over and I was just too scared. And I tried to fight it because I was like, I can't lose this part of my identity. Like, it's too big, and I can't keep making my world smaller to cope with my anxiety. But kept pushing through, and I was paying for private lessons that I couldn't afford because I thought that would make it better, and I just couldn't do it. My world was getting smaller and smaller because I was so preoccupied with how unhappy I was.
Is that a goal for you now then, to get back to pole?
I don't really know. Part of me feels like I have to prove a point, to say, you know, oh, anxiety didn't beat me, I've got back on the pole. But then there also really now isn't enough of it in my heart to want to go back. Like, my life has moved on from it now as well. So I'm not saying it's not something I would go back to in the future, but I think.
So are you doing it for you, or are you just doing it to prove?
Yeah,
isn't it? Yeah.
Just
exactly.
Get a
And it's
big old
not
picture
like
printed out and put it in your bathroom. That's what I would do.
And it's not like I could just walk into the studio and do everything I was doing before. It would take a really long time to build it all back up. And I have honestly asked myself that question, like, are you willing to put in the work? And at the moment, the answer is no. I've got a lot of other stuff going on that's taking up a lot of my time and focus, and I'm happy with that.
And also, who are you answering to? You're answering to yourself. Like, I have to remind myself of this a lot, to be honest. Like, not with pole dance, unfortunately, but like when I don't know, I make a decision and I need to own that decision. These are small decisions, just household decisions, for example. You know, or okay, I need to go and get Phoebe at this time, and then 20 minutes later I'm still in the house. I'm like, oh God, I need to go and get her, and then it means I've got less time with her of an evening, and then the mum guilt comes in. So that's like a tiny example. But I'm like, I then justify things in my head. I have a conversation, an internal monologue with myself, and I am justifying the decisions I've made to myself, which, you know, we've talked a lot about the brain and the mind being so overpowering in this episode. And that gets louder and louder and louder. And I have to just remind myself, like, I'm talking to no one's asking me this. No one's putting pressure on me. No one's saying, why did you leave 20 minutes later? No one's saying, why did you do that? I'm saying it to myself. So like, I can resonate with that kind of, I'm happy, you know, who do I need to speak to about it? No, I'm just telling myself, I've got a lot going on. I'm all good. Because it's really important to remind yourself of that, and remind yourself that it's not a physical human being that stood over you saying, why did you make that decision? What did you do? What's the outcome of that? What's that effect? It's just your internal monologue. But when it gets loud, it's really hard to deal with. So I think you've answered your own question. You're not bothered at this point, you know? There might be a fire that gets lit in your belly in 5 years' time that drives you to pole, and you could get on that and it could be the best decision of your life. If that never comes, you learned it, you got a talent out of it, it was covering things, and you want to box that off as that chapter because you're in a really good place now. You're working on yourself, you're in therapy. Like, that's the achievement. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's really good that you've recognized that, you know?
Yeah, it is, and I can see the improvements and the progress steps, like the achievements in other things. Like those, like I say, anxiety was making my life so small that what I was able to do comfortably was the list was getting shorter and shorter to the point where like I wasn't doing the cooking because I couldn't be near the gas hobs, and it just like you get to that point, you're like, this is actually ridiculous now.
Why
Like,
couldn't you be near the gas hobs?
they just made me anxious.
Wow.
It's crazy, isn't it? And they
Yeah.
just, I
To that, yeah.
I turn them on and be like, it's fine. You've done this a million times. Why are you being weird? And then I'd be like, oh, I can smell something, and turn it off. And then like stand in the doorway and look at it for 20 minutes before I was brave enough to try again. And like some days it was fine, but a lot of the time it was stressful.
So,
and just, yeah.
Yeah.
so you've got
regulate.
elements of OCD as well then? Because I feel
Well,
like that's like for me, there's the checking and things like that. Just because I can resonate with it, I've absolutely got OCD. Like it's really bad. So just when you were saying that with the gas and something's going to happen and this, that, and the other, it's like that feels very OCD as well. Which again, on top of everything that you're going through, like.
And all the time as well, that you said stood there for 20 odd minutes while this is, and then all going through your head. I mean, I could probably do with a bit of that because I'm the one who leaves the gas hobs on. I can't see the blue flame.
Well, Josh is the opposite. Like, he doesn't consider the consequences, whereas, I watch him doing something and I see him die, like, in my brain as he's doing it. I'm like, well, he's going to die. Like, it literally happens inside my head. And I'm like, please don't do that. Because now...
Get in the grey, Charlie. This episode's going to be called Get in the Grey.
Yeah.
Like, well, it's your fault. I can't walk into the kitchen for another 2 weeks now because you paid me 2 hours. You have to go.
Talking to Josh, obviously, I remember when you got back together because we were messaging and you were like, I'm back with Josh. And I feel like because you are you and your messages are also very kind of just Charlie-fied, which is also what made me howl about the hen do video, by the way, when you did an AI hen do. Honestly, made me absolute howl because it's so on brand for you. But
it was good, that.
It was very good.
But I just GBT one, wasn't it? Just for anyone wondering why.
Yeah. Sometimes I think things are just boring to other people. I was like, I'll squirt over that. Don't worry about skirt, not squirt. Skirt. It was a fruity hen do. No,
I mean, there's a holiday wrapping story there.
But like, I could basically, what I was trying to say, I could feel like the joy in that message when we were like messaging about it. And I was thinking about it earlier because obviously we knew you were coming on, and I was thinking like, this was obviously after Liverpool, HBK times and all that kind of stuff. And I remember you being like, I'm back with Josh. Like, how did it happen? How did it feel? And what is it looking like now? Because we know obviously there's big news on the horizon, and you're very lovely flushing that right now. But yeah, how did you get back together, and what space are you guys in right now?
But, I messaged him and he came over to see me, and we had dinner and just didn't talk about anything, but just sort of sat and had a cuddle on the sofa, and he went home. And then he messaged me a few days later and wanted to see if we could work it out, basically.
And now you obviously, for people who don't know, planning a wedding as well, aren't you? And that is next June, isn't it? The 7th?
Josh is private. Lucy's telling the wedding date live on the episode.
If anyone wants to send any presents.
I am so excited to come and just watch you guys get married, considering everything that's gone on that you've told us about in this episode. Like, me and Lucy are going to be there, tears streaming down our face. Oh, cannot wait.
That's what I want. I want everyone to cry.
Everyone to cry. But you've also, obviously, fast forward to now, we know as well you've been interviewed recently for promotion. We've talked about those. What is it you are most proud of now? Like, what was surprised the old version of Charlie, say, so many years ago, about
Mm.
the woman you are sitting in front of us today?
What was surprised the old me the most? I would probably say my resilience, because every time it's been bad, I thought I'm not going to get through it, but I'm still here, and I am now living the life I always dreamed that I would. And it's not just about my relationship. It's, like I said earlier, I live by the river. I've got a job that I adore. I've got friends and family that I adore, and they've always been there to support me. And like, I can't wait for the wedding day to spend it with them as well, and for everyone to be like, it's all right. It all turned out all right in the end. Like,
Oh,
it did.
I'm getting like emotional, like you hearing you speak like
Sorry.
that, because it's just like it is. And it was when you said I'm living like the life that I actually dreamt of, like, and it's like there is no mask anymore. There is no like kind of experience that you're going through, that you're waking up every day wondering how you're going to get through it. And there are moments, tough moments still, you've alluded to that, but you are managing it, you've done the work. And to hear you say that you are like living the life that you have always dreamed about, and there is no mask, it's just so amazing. Like, it's just beautiful. And I'm so like genuinely so happy for you.
Oh, thank you.
And I think as well, because obviously you've said it yourself, it's still battles, you still go to therapy. If anyone's recognizing parts of themselves listening to this, if it's like that early stage of depression, do I need to go to the doctors? What would you say for anyone who's kind of in the journey that you've been in, that what you found really helpful, the best decision to, because I know you mentioned speaking to friends, obviously you had the ambulance on the phone, you had the doctors on the phone. What
Yeah.
stood out for you?
My number one bit of advice is exactly that, Lucy. Speak to someone, because I have found a few times now that something someone says back to you gets through the door. Like I have found that it does. You don't know what it is or when it's coming, but something someone says will punch a hole through that pain in your head, and you'll start to be able to find your way out. And it's so vitally important. Like, staying inside your brain isn't going to make it go away. You have to reach out to get the help, and whatever shape or form that takes, take it. Like, I have done it. I have reached out with 10 hands and gone, anyone, somewhere, help me. Like, what therapy should we try this time? And what meds do I need to do this time? And what trees do I need to stand under to make myself feel a bit more centered? There are things that you can do. Don't try and, I don't know. I just think speaking about it is the most powerful thing. You can get so bogged down in forcing it to be fixed, but talking is the most powerful thing, I think. And you don't know what once someone one day is going to say, or that even you're going to say, that's going to have that huge impact.
And you mentioned different type of therapies then as well. What is one thing that therapy's taught you that you think everybody should know? Like, is there a certain type of therapy, or is there something like a practice?
I think, there's quite a lot of things that I found really helpful, but I think probably the main one for someone that's not been through a lot of therapy already is that the thoughts that you're having in your head, they're not you speaking to yourself. They're negative thought patterns that shouldn't really be there. Like, you have your consciousness, and sometimes that is a voice being narrated inside your head, but that is different to what is being triggered by your feelings of anxiety and depression. Like, they are sabotaging you, and they're not the same as who you are in your head. Does that make sense? And that's really powerful, to be able to understand the difference and be like, no, this isn't what I think. This is words in my head.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I think that's really interesting and important to kind of, wrap everything up by making sure that you can recognize what's reality and what's in your head. And I think that's probably, yes, so crucial to making sure that you are not listening to those loud voices and it's not taking over reality. And I think you've done such a beautiful way of explaining depression within this episode and really making it understandable, for people who might confuse it with anxiety or might not realize how deep it goes. So thank you so much for sharing. And obviously we are going to leave you with the last question that we always ask our guests. So who is Charlie becoming now?
The main thing that I am becoming is more, I don't want to say confident person, but a more present person, a more willing to be in the room and contribute to the world kind of person. Like I want to be a part of life and I want life to be a part of me as well. Like sitting at home and knitting and by myself and not talking to anyone is not a life well lived. So that's the main focus for me, as well as I'm obviously becoming a wife. I have just become a homeowner, which is great. And yeah, that's been my main focus for the last year in therapy, and that's what I want to keep working on.
Well, it's amazing. And honestly, because of how and who we know you are as a person and all the work that you've done, we are immensely proud of you for coming on this podcast and speaking so honestly and being so vulnerable. We were chatting before you came on and we were wondering, what kind of Charlie are we're gonna see? Are we gonna see someone that is gonna keep everything to herself and we have to delve a little bit deeper? Are you gonna give some detail? And you've just completely done us proud. You've opened up, you've really gone deep, you've allowed yourself to just be put out there, which is the scariest thing, especially with someone who's gone through what you've gone through. So again, sit, take stock, reflect, and just be incredibly proud of yourself, because we are so grateful that you've come on and shared with us. And I just think you're going to resonate with a lot of people. So just thank you.
Well, thank you very much. And you can thank my therapist, because after my year, was actually able to come on this podcast. I wouldn't have done it before.
Yeah, you'll have to give us some feedback and let us know what she says once you have that therapy session you said that you've been on. And if obviously you don't mind just sharing it, we can obviously share on future episodes how that's gone or on our socials, and everyone can see the full circle.
Yeah.
But on that, I am going to say a goodbye from us all. I actually feel like my hangover's got a lot better throughout this. I feel like
that's good.
It's the effect of the therapeutic feeling that we get, and we always say it. We feel like they're therapy sessions for us. Like we're educated, you feel lighter, you feel like you've offloaded. So that'll be like that physiological reaction from the therapy session, Lou.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I don't really get anxiety, but this will probably what it's.
You're so
Charlie
lucky.
says talking.
Yeah.
I just get hungry and sweaty.
Anyway, get yourself in a cold shower. It's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me. And goodbye from.
And goodbye from me. Bye.